Hi everyone, welcome to the Physical and Beyond. It's your girl Desiree, and I'm back with another video. I've been kind of recording this off and on because I'm really trying not to make this long, but I was just thinking that maybe I can make it into like a series, and I could break it up in a series of videos. So y'all let me know what you think about that. So I wanted to basically do a recap on the topic of being 30 plus without children from a woman's perspective. And yeah, I think I'm going to try the series thing. So in this video, I'm going to focus specifically just on concerns. Concerns that I had when I was really young and things that sometimes cross my mind, not often, but from once in a while they cross my mind. And I kind of just want to focus specifically just on that in this video because I had a lot of different points and I felt like it was making things really long. So, one of the first concerns that I had was basically about getting older, right? When women get older, there's a rise in the risk of complications with pregnancy. You can always have complications even when you're younger, it depends on the woman, but there are lots of more complications that a woman can be more susceptible to as she gets older. So that is something that I've thought about even when I was young, even when I was a teenager, a young adult, because I was learning about a lot of those things when I was a teenager. I would read about pregnancy, I would read about fertility, I would read about menstruation. And I was a late bloomer. Like, I didn't get my menstruation until I was probably like 16 and a half or so. But even before then, I was still reading a lot about it because I just was always interested in health, and I knew that hopefully one day I would eventually get mine, and I eventually did. So, yeah. Also, the lower chance of conceiving. So, some women, as they get into their 30s, they have a lower fertility. Some women, it doesn't really hit them until they're in like their 40s, sometimes even late 40s. So it really just depends on the woman, but you do tend to have higher fertility in your 20s on average, right? Because there's always a possibility that you can struggle with fertility in your 20s as well. So it really, like I said before, it really just depends on the woman. Also, I used to think about like, do I really want to run around with children as I'm getting older? Be 35 and have my first child. What if I wanted to have more than one child? Now it's like I have to have them back to back because I wouldn't want to have my second child at 45, you know what I mean? So I just would think about stuff like that when I was younger. And then also the lifespan, like the life expectancy. So, my hope is that I'm blessed with many years, to live until my 80s or maybe even 90s. I know older age does run in my family, so my goal is to take care of myself. I've been doing relatively okay, but I believe that I can do more. So I aim to live a holistic lifestyle, basically focusing on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects and improving with that. So that's something that I'm definitely striving to improve on. So, yeah. So also, as far as like worries and concerns, this is not necessarily in the area of getting older, but just in the area of concerns, leaving like your genetics right in the world. So if you don't have any children, how are you going to do that? So that was something that I always thought about when I was like a child and a teenager. I wanted a daughter. I wanted a daughter that looked like me. I wanted her to have like my features, my hair, my facial features. I would look at my pictures when I was young and I was like, oh, what if she looks just like me when I was young? So I had that desire to carry on my genetics, especially because my mother didn't have any other children. So I always thought about that. And then also, this is something that I never really thought about a lot, but I know it's something that is constantly told to women. It's like, well, what are you going to do when you get older? Like, who's going to take care of you? You're going to die alone and stuff like that. And that is kind of the same thing they say when it comes to marriage, too. But just like with marriage, it's the same thing with children. There's no guarantee that your children are going to take care of you when you get older. And Your children are not going to be children when you're older. They're going to be adults, and they're going to have their own lives and their own health and their own responsibilities to think about. So that doesn't mean that they should, well, depends on the relationship that you have with your children. But if you have a healthy relationship with your children, the hope is that they, help you in your old age as much as they possibly can. But that's the thing, as much as they possibly can, because they're going to have their own lives. They may even have their own families to take care of, especially if it's a son. He has his own wife and his children now to take care of. So, they do the best that they can, but it's limited, unless you have a child that doesn't have children, right? But even then, they still have their own lives. So I think that it's important to not bank on that. Yeah, so those are like some of like the main things that I wrote down as far as like concerns. I don't know, like I stopped really having a strong desire to have children once I turned like maybe 22. Was it 21, 22? I'm not really sure, but I know I was in my early 20s when I didn't really desire to have children as much anymore. And it continued throughout my 20s into my early 30s. So I don't know. Like, I once in a while I'll think about like, oh, I wonder what it would be like, or I wonder if I should have children one day. I know that I would like to be in different circumstances first, and I could talk about that in another video because I don't want this video to be too long. So yeah, but this video in particular, I wanted to focus specifically on the concerns that I had growing up as a child and as a teenager, as a young adult, as far as getting older, and the topic of having children, and then also some concerns that don't necessarily have to do with age in particular, but just have to do with concerns as far as like not having children. So that's basically just what I wanted to talk about with this video. Hope that it was helpful to those who may also be in their 30s, other women, and maybe people who are in their 20s who are approaching their 30s and they're worried. I think that it's normal to have concerns, it's normal to have worries, but I think that anytime when we're moving from a place of fear, we tend not to make healthy decisions. So I think that it's important that if you are worried, like, oh, I'm getting older, what am I going to do? I have children. And then you go ahead and have children from that type of energy, 9 times out of 10 is not going to result in a healthy outcome. Or, oh, my family is pressuring me because I'm getting older. My family is pressuring me because I'm getting older. That's another thing too, that I didn't write down. Like, you have family, you have society, you have friends. Your friends, that's another thing that I didn't write down. You can have friends who also have already had children, and you're thinking, well, I'm the only one who doesn't have any children, or maybe I'm the only one at my church that doesn't have children. Maybe church people are pushing me to have children. I'm at work, right? You go to work and everybody's talking about, oh, my child this and my child that, and you're the only one who can't really chime in. So there's a lot of different, whether they're direct pressures where people are telling you you need to have kids, what's going on, where's the kids at, or they're indirect where the people are not necessarily telling you that, but you just feel kind of left out, or you feel like maybe there's like a almost like a indirect type of pressure where they're looking at you like, what's going on here, And then there's also the pressure from men, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get older. You're not gonna have any kids. Sometimes people think there's something wrong with you, like, because you don't have any children. Like, what's wrong with you? So there's a lot of different reasons why people can go ahead and do it that aren't based on healthy reasons, right? So I think that, like I said, having concerns are normal. Even for women who don't want children, they can still sometimes have thoughts that come in their mind because of that pressure, or just a natural thought process of, I wonder what it would be like if I didn't have kids, and I wonder what that would result in. I mean, it's normal. At least for me, I'm a free thinker. I'm constantly questioning everything. So it's normal for me to be questioning things all day long. But I know some people don't think like that because their mind is not cuckoo like mine. But I think it's normal to have those thoughts. But I think it's just what we do with them and whether we're acting from them. That's the main thing. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to ramble on. But I hope that this was a helpful video. And I will come back again with another video as far as 30 plus without children, and be talking about a different aspect of that. So take care. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and make sure you comment, like, And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Talk to you later. Bye.